How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you've had a good week. Thank you for all your hard work. You did brilliantly this week in your practice reading and writings tests. So well done and brilliant work. Thank you very much. This week for entry level 1 English, we are on week 6. Amazing. Another week has gone. The time flies. So this week we've got quite a lot as usual to cover. This week we're going to review your spellings, so you'll have a spelling test and it will be one from somewhere in the past 5 weeks, one of the spellings. We're going to review the future simple. We are going to review types of text, so just to remember what a leaflet and an advert are and how we recognise them. We're going to review how to write a message, like you did for your homework, just so that we can remember that. We're going to learn about the past simple today, the past simple tense today. And we're going to learn some new spellings today. And then we're going to learn about how to write an email, so that's the type of text that we're going to be looking. Oh, hang on, you can't see the bottom, can you? It doesn't go down far enough. Let me just go down a little further for you. Hang on. Hopefully you can see that. Then we're going to learn about how to write an email, so that's the type of text we're going to be looking at today. Okay, so we've got a lot to cover in the video, and then there'll be some homework associated with that, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Okay, let's start. Okay, so for this week's spellings, it's going to be surprise spellings. I haven't told you what they will be, but they will be from the last 5 weeks, so you will have learnt these before. So, do you have paper and pen? And are you ready? So, I'll do 10, hopefully, 10 spellings. Okay, so number 1, ask. The teacher is going to ask me a question. Ask. Number 2, school. I go to school on Wednesdays. School. Number 3, bake. I like to bake cookies at the weekend. Bake. How do you spell bake? Number 4, drive. I drive to work every day. Drive. Number 5, travel. I travel to work by car. I travel to work by car. Travel. How do you spell travel? Number 6, visit. I visit my grandparents at the weekend. Visit. How do you spell visit? Number 7, their. Their cat is black. Their. Their cat is black. How do you spell their? Number 8, no. Do you know my brother? No. How do you spell no? Do you know my brother? No. Number 9, off. Turn off the light, please. Off. How do you spell off? Turn off the light, please. Number 10, Wednesday. Wednesday is my favourite day of the week. Wednesday. How do you spell Wednesday? And number 11, I'm just going to do one more because there's one more I want to do, so there's 11 spellings, not 10. Write. Can you write a letter to your mother, please? Can you write a letter to your mother, please? Write. How do you spell write? Okay, so if you need to listen to those again, you can go back and repeat and listen, replay, okay? Go back and listen again if you need to. I'm going to get the answers on the board, so stay with me if you want to look at the answers. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's see how well you did out of 11. How many did you get? Just let me know. So, number 1, ask. A-S-K. Ask a question. Ask. Number 2, school. S-C-H-O-O-L. So we've got a silent H in there. School. That H is very difficult to hear. Number 3, bake. B-A-K-E. Bake. Number 4, drive. D-R-I-V-E. Drive. Number 5, travel. T-R-A-V-E-L. Number 6, visit. V-I-S-I-T. Number 7, their cat, their house. It belongs to them. It is theirs. T-H-E-I-R. Number 8, know. K-N-O-W. Do you know my brother? To have knowledge, to know. K-N-O-W. Number 9, off. Turn off the light. O-double-F. 10, Wednesday. W-E-D-N-E-S-D-A-Y. Number 11, write, as in to write a letter. W-R-I-T-E. That's a hard one. W-R-I-T-E, write. So how did you do? How many did you get? Let me know. What did you get out of 11? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? Did anybody get 11 out of 11? That's amazing if you did. So yeah, let me know how you did. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of this and get on to the next bit. Okay, so we're going to look at our spellings that you need to learn for next week, week 7. So these are the spellings that you need to learn for next week's test, okay? This week we're looking at spellings with an I sound in them. I sound. I. Okay, so spellings with an I sound in them. I can be spelt in a number of different ways. So we can spell the I sound with I-G-H. I. That's those letters, I-G-H, can make an I sound. Just the letter I can make an I sound. And the letter Y can make an I sound. So if we have a look here, I've got my 10 spellings, you'll see what I mean. Number 1, night. So N-I-T. N-I-T. Night. N-I-T. Night. Okay, so that has the I sound in it and it's spelled with an I-G-H. Very confusing. Very confusing. I-G-H can make an I sound. Number 2, light. L-I-T. L-I-T. Light. And it's got that I sound. I-G-H. Spelling I-G-H. I sound. Light. Light. Number 3, right. We looked at this the other week because we talked about homophones. So, right. R-I-T. 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 Right. Right. R-I-G-H-T. So, night, N-I-G-H-T. Light, L-I-G-H-T. Right, R-I-G-H-T. Number 4, high. H-I. H-I. Okay, high. H-I-G-H. So that sound there, that I sound, can be spelt with an I, G and an H. In night, light, right, high. It can also be spelt with a Y. So cry, K-R-I, K-R-I. C-R-Y, cry. My, M-Y, M-I, my. Okay, so the Y can sound like I. My, cry, fly, try, buy. Again, it's got a Y in it and it sounds like I, doesn't it? And then it also can be spelt with an I. So like, like, like. Find, find, I, I. Time, time. And write again. But this time, whereas this one's got I-G-H, this one's got W-R-I-T-E, like we did last week, to write. Right. Okay, so these are sounds with an I, these are words with an I sound. I. Got night, light, right, high, high mountains, high up. Cry, my cat, my house, my car. Like, I like chocolate. Find, to find something. Find my keys, always losing my keys. Time, what time is it? And right. So I want you to learn these spellings. You can write sentences if you like with these spellings in to practice them. Okay, so you can write some sentences with these. So I go to bed at 11 p.m. in the night. Oh, I'll just put 11 in the night. Okay, so you can make some sentences with these words to help you learn them and to help you with your sentences as well. It will help you. You will learn quicker if you write sentences with these in. You will learn the grammar, the spelling, the punctuation, because I can mark those and correct them for you. So these are the words to learn for next week for your spelling test, okay? All right? Okay, so this week for our grammar, we're going to focus on past simple tense. So we've already looked at the present simple tense, and we've looked at the future simple last week as well, didn't we? So here's the base form of our verb. Remember the base form of our verb. So we've got the verb go, have, do, be, eat, drive, fly and read here. Okay? Present simple form, we add s or es or change it slightly for he, she or it. Remember, I go, he goes. You go, she goes. They go, it goes. We go. So remember, we add this es here for he, she and it. Okay, for he, she and it, we add that es, go and goes. For the future simple, we just add will and the base form. Will and the base form. Okay? Will and the base form. Okay, so this base form over here. Will and the base form. So will go. I will go, you will go, she will go. The same for everyone. The same for everyone. Doesn't change for he, she or it. Have, will have. Go, will go. I will go, you will go, he will go. He will go to the party. He will go to work next week, tomorrow. Okay? So the future simple. Again, have. In the present simple, I have. He, she, it has. Do, in the present simple, I do, he, she, it does. We add that es, don't we? Be, remember be changes for everything. I am, he, she, it is, you, they, we are. Okay? And then It's will be for the future simple. We go back to that base form. She will be, I will be, you will be. Will do, will have. Eat, eat and eats. Drive, drive, drives. Fly, fly and flies. We get rid of the Y and replace with IES. Read and reads. We add an S for he, she, it. Okay? And nice and easy for the future simple. We just add will to the base form of the verb. So tomorrow I will go to work. Tomorrow I will eat pasta. Next week I will fly to Spain. Tonight I will read a book. You will read, she will read, they will read, he will read. Okay, my cat will eat a mouse. It stays the same for I, you, he, she, it, everything. But present simple, remember we change when it's he, she and it. We add that S. She reads, she eats, she drives, he travels, he visits, he goes, he has, he does. So it changes for he, she and it. Now, past simple. The past simple is where we talk about the past. Yesterday, last week, last year, last summer, last month, this morning. Okay? So we talk about the past 3 hours ago. Okay? The past. So we've got the present, the future, and the past. Okay? So the past simple, where we talk about yesterday, or last week, or last summer, last year. Okay? So, with the past simple, our verbs are either irregular or regular. So these are irregular verbs. They change completely in the past simple. Okay? They change completely. So, go becomes went. Have becomes had. Do becomes did. Be is was or were. Eat becomes ate. Drive becomes drove. Fly becomes flew. And read is still spelt the same, but it's pronounced read. Read. It sounds like red, but we spell it the same. It's very confusing English, isn't it? It's very confusing. So, for the past simple, so we've got the present, which is now. Okay? I live in Salisbury. I go to work. We have the future. I will go to work tomorrow. And then we have the past. I went to work yesterday. So for the past simple, go becomes went. Completely different word. But the good news is, I, you, he, she, it is the same for all of them. Okay? It doesn't change for he, she, it like in the present. It stays the same. He went, I went. Yesterday I went to the shop. Yesterday he went to the shop. We don't add S or anything, it stays the same. Have becomes had. Okay? Yesterday I had 2 ice creams. Do becomes did. Yesterday she did the cleaning. Yesterday she did the cooking. Yesterday she did. Now be, as always, is very difficult. Be is was and were. I was angry yesterday. Yesterday I was angry. You were. So I was. He, she, it was. You, they, we were. He was, she was, I was, it was, they were, you were, we were. Okay, so for be, it's a bit different. So was is I, he, she, etc. And were is you, they, and we. Yesterday I was happy. Yesterday she was happy. Yesterday they were happy. Yesterday you were happy. Okay, so be is annoying as usual. Eat becomes ate. Eat becomes ate. Okay, so I ate, you ate, he ate, she ate. Yesterday I ate 2 ice creams. Okay, so pronunciation is like the number 8. The number 8. That's the pronunciation for that. 8. Drive becomes drove. 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 Say that for me. Drove. Yesterday I drove to Amesbury. Yesterday I drove to Southampton. Yesterday I drove to Portsmouth. Okay, drove. She drove, he drove, all the same. Fly becomes flew. Flew. So say that, flew. Flew. Last year I flew to Greece. Last year I flew to Greece. He flew to America. She flew to Canada. Read becomes read, but we still spell the same. Last night I read a book. She read, he read, they read. So that the spelling's the same, but pronunciation is different. Go figure. I don't know. It's crazy. Now these are irregular verbs because they change in the past simple. So we call them irregular verbs. Okay, so these are irregular verbs. So we've got the base form, the present simple form, the past simple, and the future simple. Okay? I go to school on Wednesday. I went to school yesterday. I will go to school tomorrow. Okay? These ones here, you just have to learn them. There's no rules why it's irregular, I don't know. But you just have to learn them. And you have to learn that pronunciation. Went, had, did, was, were, ate, drove, flew, read. Red, like the colour red. So practice those, okay? And remember, we use them in things like yesterday, last week, last year, last summer, last night, this morning. Okay, so to talk about the past. So we use them with those words. Yesterday, I. Last week, I. Last weekend. Last Saturday. So we use it a lot with that last. 2 weeks ago. We use it with those sorts of expressions. Okay, make sure you've got all of this down because you need to practice the sound and you need to practice and learn this, okay? Okay, I've just got up on the board here what we call some past simple regular verbs, not irregular, regular verbs. Now with regular verbs in the past, so we've got our base form here, play, watch, listen and visit. So present simple play and plays, again we're adding that S or ES, aren't we, for he, she, it. I visit, he visits. I play, she plays. Future, will, plus the base form, will play, will watch, will listen, will visit. Past, if it's a regular verb, we just add ed. Nice and easy. we add ed for regular verbs. Okay, so for regular verbs we add ed. Some of our verbs are regular and some are irregular. I will send you a big list of them, but you just have to learn which ones are regular and which ones are irregular. But with regular verbs, we just add ed in the past. So yesterday, I played tennis. Yesterday, I watched Love Island. Yesterday, I listened to music. Yesterday, I visited my mum. She played football. He watched TV. She listened to music. She visited her mum. It stays the same for I, you, he, she, they, we. It stays the same. But we add ed from the base. Okay? And these are regular verbs. So we have irregular verbs, such as go, which becomes went. It's completely different. It changes, okay? The word changes. But with regular verbs, we just add ed. Now, your pronunciation here is very important. So, played, played, d. It's a d sound. Not id, not play it, not play it, not watch it. No, no, no. Played. So say that word for me. Played. Watched. Watched. Listened. Listened. Visited. 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 Okay? So, and again we use yesterday, last week, last year, etc. So that's our past simple. It's lots of new changes to the base form of the verb, aren't there? So we're going to make you're going to make some sentences of that in your homework. Practice making some sentences using those in your homework and using some past simple forms. So now we've got the present, past and the future. So if you're talking about the future, tomorrow, will plus the base form. If you're talking about the past, we use the past simple form. If we're talking about things that are true now or habits or routines, we use the present simple and we add s or es for he, she and it. Okay? Right, just going to pause. Right, if you remember last week we started to look at types of text, the different types of text that we use to communicate in writing. Last week we talked about the different types and we had some ideas like leaflet, advert, letter, email, web page and message like text message or a note to your friend. These were just some of the things that we talked about. And we looked at leaflet and advert last week, didn't we? Do you remember we talked about leaflets and we talked about adverts and we said how that they use, both of them use colour and images or pictures. They might use a heading. They might use bullet points. And we talked about how they look, you know, how a leaflet looks, how it have a heading at the top, maybe some other headings down there, maybe some pictures, might have some bullet points, might have some underlining in the heading, okay, and they might use bright colours, they might use block capitals. Okay, etc. And we talked about that, didn't we? And we said how adverts tried to sell you something or tried to make you buy something or, you know, do that kind of thing. And a leaflet gives you information, doesn't it? It gives you information about something. It tells you, gives some advice or some tips about something. So this week we're going to look a little bit at an email. That's what we're going to look at this week, an email, which you're all familiar with because I email you all the time. So you should be very familiar with an email. So I'm just going to get some things up on the board. Okay, so this week we're just going to quickly look at an email, all right, and how it's presented and how it should be. So with an email, we have boxes at the top. We call these boxes. We have a to box. We have a subject box. And we have a CC box. And this is how I know that it's an email, because it has these boxes, plural of boxes, at the top. So obviously the to box is where you write the email address. Now, this symbol here is at. So Marius at, so that symbol, that we say at, okay, at. Marius at Gmail, and this we say .com, at and dot, okay. So Marius at gmail.com. CC means copy, carbon copy. Do you want to copy anyone else in? Do you want anyone else to read it? Maybe, you know, another friend or your boss, or sometimes, because sometimes we use CC, sometimes we don't. But it's anyone else you want to copy in, any other people you want to read it. Subject, that's where we put what the email is about. But we only use 2 or 3 words in the subject box, no more than 3 words. So this subject is last weekend. Okay, so we've got a to box, a subject box, and a CC box for copy, and at and dot. Okay, so I know it's an email because we've got these boxes here, to box and a subject box, okay? Also, I have a greeting, just like our message that we did last week. It's the same. We can start with hi or hello. So, hi Marius, how are you? Okay, like I said, for English people, it's always polite to ask how are you if you're writing an email or a message to a friend. Hi, how are you? So, hi Marius, how are you? I want to tell you what I did, past of do, past simple of do, I did at the weekend. So that means last weekend because I used did. So I'm talking about last weekend. I went, the past simple of go, I went to Portsmouth. I visited, past a visit. I visited my friend. We ate Japanese food, so the past of eat, and drank, the past of drink is drank, and drank Japanese beer. I had a good time, past of have is had, I had a good time. What did you do? What did, so the past simple question, what did, not what do, but what did you do? So what did you do last weekend? See you soon from Sarah. And again, often we end with see you soon or speak later or speak soon. From or love and your name, Sarah, or whatever your name is. So an email should be set up like this, and it's very similar to a message. The only thing that's different is this. So it's like writing a message like you did last week. It's the same. But we just have these boxes at the top, don't we, to write your email address in. But it's very, very similar. So, as you can see, I've written this in the past simple. So you can guess what you're going to have to do for your homework, aren't you? You're going to have to write an email in the past simple. So I'm going to tell you how to do that. It'll be in the instructions, it'll tell you how to do it in your tasks and in your worksheets and in your exercises. So for your homework, you've got to learn your spelling words. If you have time, write some sentences with those spelling words, please. You're going to do some exercises in the past simple, changing the verbs into the past simple. You're going to do some exercises on that. And you're going to do a bit of reading practice. So I'm going to send you something to read and answer a few questions, few simple questions. And then you're going to write a short email like this about what you did last weekend or something in the past anyway. It will be in the homework, okay? So you're going to write an email in the past. All right? So that's everything you've got to do for this week. Any questions, then obviously text me, message me, WhatsApp me, email me, etc. Have a great week, and you've 7 days to complete your work as usual, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.